Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into the fascinating life and mind of one of the most underrated philosophers of all time, Democritus. You've probably heard of atoms, but did you know this guy was talking about them over 2,000 years ago? Stick around, because we're about to explore his life, his groundbreaking ideas, and 100 of his most insightful quotes. Let's get started. The story of Democritus, the laughing philosopher. Once upon a time in the ancient city of Abdera, a child was born who would one day reshape the way humans understand the universe. His name was Democritus. Unlike many of his contemporaries, he wasn't born into royalty or a family of warriors. His wealth was in curiosity. His power was in laughter, and his legacy would echo through the corridors of science and philosophy. A curious mind in a chaotic world, Democritus was a wanderer. As a young man, he traveled extensively, seeking knowledge in places few had dared to go. He visited Egypt, where he learned from the priests about mathematics and astronomy. He ventured into Persia, absorbing the wisdom of the Magi. He even studied under the Chaldeans in Babylon. By the time he returned to Greece, he had compiled an intellectual arsenal unlike any before him. But Democritus wasn't just about collecting knowledge. He wanted to explain the nature of reality itself. And so, he set out on a journey of the mind that would lead him to one of the most revolutionary ideas in history: atomism, the atomic theory. A universe of tiny building blocks, Democritus believed that everything in the universe was made up of small, indivisible particles called atoms. He reasoned that if you kept cutting something into smaller and smaller pieces, you would eventually reach a fundamental unit that could no longer be divided. These atoms, he argued, moved in a void, colliding, combining, and separating to create everything we see around us. This idea was over 2,000 years ahead of its time, and it wouldn't be fully validated until the 19th and 20th centuries. But despite being dismissed by Aristotle and largely ignored for centuries, Democritus's atomic theory would later form the foundation of modern physics and chemistry. Key aspects of Democritus's atomic theory: indivisibility. Atoms are the smallest unit of matter and cannot be split further. Infinite variations. Atoms differ in shape, size, and motion, leading to the diversity of the physical world. Void. There exists empty space where atoms move and interact. Mechanistic universe. No divine intervention is needed. Everything follows natural laws based on atomic movement. Laughter and the good life. Democritus wasn't just a scientist. He was also a philosopher of happiness. Unlike the grim existentialism of many thinkers, he believed that the key to a good life was cheerfulness and tranquility. He saw the absurdity of human worries and often laughed at the foolishness of mankind. Because of this, he became known as the laughing philosopher. For him, true happiness didn't come from wealth or power, but from cultivating wisdom, living simply, and finding joy in knowledge and self-sufficiency. Happiness resides not in possessions, and not in gold. Happiness dwells in the soul. Democritus argued that pleasure should not be about indulgence, but about a balance of mental and physical well-being. He saw knowledge as the highest form of pleasure, believing that a wise person could find joy in learning and self-reflection, rather than chasing fleeting materialistic gains. Quotes from Democritus with explanations. Nothing exists except atoms and empty space. Everything else is opinion. This is the foundation of his atomic theory. Everything is made of tiny, invisible particles. Happiness is not found in material wealth, but in the tranquility of the mind. True contentment comes from within, not from external possessions. The brave man is he who overcomes not only his enemies, but his pleasures. Self-control is the greatest victory. Good means not merely not to do wrong, but rather not to desire to do wrong. Virtue is about inner character, not just actions. Democritus's legacy and influence. Even though his atomic theory was ignored for centuries, Democritus's ideas were rediscovered in the Renaissance and later inspired modern physics. His thoughts on happiness influenced Epicurus, and his scientific approach paved the way for the modern scientific method. Some of the greatest minds in history, from Galileo to Einstein, have acknowledged the brilliance of Democritus. Today, his legacy lives on in quantum physics, chemistry, and philosophy. His laughter, too, has a lesson for us today. Life is short, full of uncertainties, and often absurd. So why not laugh and enjoy the ride? YouTube-style conclusion. Alright guys, that's it for today's deep dive into the life and philosophy of Democritus. If you enjoyed this, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more mind-expanding content. Let me know in the comments, what was your favorite Democritus quote? And do you think laughter really is the key to happiness? Until next time, keep questioning and stay curious.